to another episode of Girl Talk. I'm so excited. We have a phenomenal woman here with us today, a phenomenal girl with us today, Miss Monica Barnes, and she's going to talk about her purpose, how she keeps the promises she makes to herself, and she's going to share a really, really awesome event that she has coming up really soon. So help me welcome to Girl Talk, Mrs. Monica Barnes. And the crowd goes wild.
Thank you
Hey.
so much. Thank you. I am so happy to be here. Thank you, Vicki, for having me and allowing me this opportunity to just chat with you. I'm happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you, girl.
And thank you for taking a break from using your work break to talk to me today. I really appreciate you making space for me because this could be your time to just like woo-saw, but you're spending it with me. So I'm so grateful.
No problem, girl. We got to get it in when we can fit it in.
I know that's right. Well, let's start with just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do in your day job, and then anything else you want to share.
Okay, so again, I'm Monica. Hey y'all. And so I am a therapist by day. I am a therapist with the state of Nevada. So I work with children in the mental health capacity all the way from the ages of 8 till about 18 years old. So that is my daytime job. And I've always said that was kind of like my ministry. Like I think God had really gifted me with the gift of counseling and helping. So I've loved this. I've been doing this for the past, I would say about 6-7 years, but I've worked in the mental health field for the past 12 years. So that is what I do in my daytime job. And then my ministry, I have always had a desire to just like really empower women and even young girls. And so I've always done something in some type of capacity in working in my church or starting different little groups through the church. So I've always done that. But here lately, I'm really focusing more and more on just women empowerment in ministry. And so that is like, I guess my thing, you could say, my purpose in life. So that is my day job, being a therapist. And then I have purpose with Motivation with Monica. And it's really just to motivate and empower women, something that I love to do.
I love it. And how did you get to that? How did you find your purpose? Because, so many times people are like, I'm just trying to find my purpose. I'm just trying to find, how did you get to a point where you could say like, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my purpose.
Yes. So that's a good question, Vicki. So I feel like with me, like I said, I feel like it's always been in me to minister to young women and young girls and women. But it was a pivotal moment for me in 2018 going into 2019. And I just really told God, like, I feel this tug, I felt this tug for him calling me and pulling me to do more. And it was, I committed to God. I do a fast at the end of every year. I do a 30-day fast at the end of every year. And so I committed during that fasting time that God, I am going to commit my will to yours. Whatever it is that you would have me to do, because I almost felt like stuck. I felt like I felt this pull, but I didn't know which way to go. Like I felt this pull from God, but I was stuck and not really knowing which way to go and what he really wanted me to do. So I committed that fast to God, your will be done in my life. Show me the purpose that you have for my life. And it was during that time of just being still in him that he showed me. It was just like visions after visions, almost like he just set the blueprint. Like, if you just walk in this, I got you. This is what I want you to do. This is what I would have for you to do. And from that, Motivation with Monica was born, just in being still and finding a moment to be still in God, being still in his word, and being still in his promises. I think sometimes, and stop me if I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, you're fine. Keep going.
I think sometimes he gives us promises, but we get so out of tune with them, out of reach, and we can't find them. And so being still in the promises that he gave me. And so I just took his word and I was still in that. I said, God, I know that you said that you would use me. I know that you said that the promises that you have for me are yes and amen. I know that you called me to minister. So I had to literally just sit in that promise and just believe what he said that he would do.
I love that.
So that is how Motivation with Monica
So
became.
you sat down. Sit
I sat
down.
down, girl. I sat down.
I
I
love that
sat
because
down.
that is my message really for women, because we go, 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 go. Especially,
Yes.
you're like me, your mom, your wife, you are part of other women's organizations with the church, whatever. And so you're always on the go, right? And
Yes.
honestly, it's funny because that moment for me was my moment of transition was around the same time, like end of 2018, 2019, where I was just like miserable. Like I just couldn't even, I was just like, I feel stuck. I don't know what's going on. And similar thing where I just was able to, like, I took a moment just to stop, and wasn't doing anything. And for me, it was really easy because I was moving. So I was in transition, like
Okay.
physically too. So I didn't really know anybody, I was in this new place, but similar situation where I was literally walking out. I knew I needed more, not just wanted more, but I knew I needed more. And I was walking my daughter around our new neighborhood, and it hit me like as clear as day, like you said, where I could see a women's retreat. I could see a group of women in a room, fellowshipping and growing together and learning together. And it was almost like I was so convicted. I was like, I'm more afraid not to do it than I was to do it, right? The fear of not doing it, it was
Yes.
more than doing it. So,
Right.
and then that's where Hey Girl Hey Health and Fitness was born, with the first retreat, and then it's kind of transitioned, and I'm doing the coaching and all that stuff. But very similar circumstances where it was that moment where I was like not doing anything and able to hear from him and able to listen, that he laid it out for me. So I love that. And it's just I think it's a testament to where if we just sit down
You
and if
just
we
sit
be
down.
still and stop filling our days with stuff, because 9 times out of 10 it's not even relevant to where we're trying to go. We don't half the time we don't even want to do it.
Absolutely, girl. Say that again.
I mean, and my thing
just
now is
doing stuff, right?
right, and if it's not paying my bills, like, why am I doing it?
Why am I doing it? I have this thing that I joke with one of my good girlfriends about, and we say, if it ain't impacting the kingdom, then what is it for?
Right.
What is it for? What are you doing? And I want to say something really quick. You said that you were just miserable. And God showed me one time that sometimes we are so like brilliant, like we have these brilliant ideas, these brilliant dreams, these brilliant things that he's placed inside of us, and if we don't use that brilliance that he's put inside us, it can turn to bitterness. He showed that to me. If we don't use the brilliance that he's put inside of us, we could be so brilliant that we're not allowing those things to shine how God has put them in us, that it turns to bitterness. And I think for me, I went through a season like that, just bitter, because like I know I have this purpose. I know that I'm supposed to be doing these things, but I can't get it to like flow how I wanted it to flow. And that's that being still part. How I wanted it to flow. God said that's not what I want. That's that being still part. Girl, when I tell you that being still and sit down somewhere and shut up and listen, woo, it pays off, honey.
Girl, that's the whole word right there in the discussion. That's the whole word.
It pays off.
It does.
But I wanted to share that, like, so for those that are listening, don't allow your brilliance to turn into bitterness. Use it. God gave it to you for a reason. Use it up.
I love that too. And this actually wasn't one of my questions, but it comes to mind. Just the other day, I made a post about, playing small. And I think so many times, and that's where I am in my season of life right now, is like, no more playing small, no more trying to follow the status quo. Because when I do that, I can't walk in my purpose. I can't be who God has called me to be, because I'm trying to minimize myself, right? I'm trying to stay in this little box when that's not how he works. He takes the ordinary and makes it extraordinary. So I got to let him work through me and in me and let me walk in it. So I love hearing you say that, because it just makes me think about that. Like, we can't keep doing that. We can't sit on it. You can't sit on it. You need to sit down and listen, but you can't sit on it when you get it.
Not too long. If you got to go when he says go, you got to move. Yeah, that's good.
So let's see. Next question is, how do you stay committed to your purpose?
How do I stay committed? That's a good
one. So many distractions, like, how do you stay
so many
committed?
distractions. For me, I stay committed because my purpose, it not only helps other people, but it feeds me. My purpose feeds me, and it feeds me mentally, it feeds me spiritually. Like, it's a full body experience for me, because when I'm walking in what I know God called me to do, I find joy there. It's just, it really feeds me. And so every day when I'm committed to the call, it allows me to go further and further into the purpose. And that's how, honestly, that's here lately, that is how I've stayed committed. It's just by consistently doing it, and just getting this feeling of, my Father is pleased with me. Like, he's pleased with me. Like, he said, and not to get like big headed about it, but just to know that my Father is pleased with me.
Yeah.
Like that, that almost brings tears to my eyes, because there were so many times when I wasn't obedient. So many times that I let other things keep me from his purpose. And so when I'm walking in it and I'm committed to it, I can literally say, like, wow, God is pleased with me. My Father is pleased with me. And so that is what keeps me committed, just knowing that I am doing what he called me to do.
I love that.
That's what keeps me committed.
On a really practical level too, with managing, working full time, managing your ministry, and you have 3 kids, one of whom is an infant. Little Easton, right? That's his name, right? Easton.
Hey, little Easton.
And how do you manage it all? How do you stay focused, and how do you stay, motivated to motivate these women who are probably in the same situation or similar?
For me, I think, and again, I take it back to purpose. Like, I've always been like a competitive person, right? And so for me, like, when I'm winning, and again, like, I don't want anybody to take what I'm saying like to be big headed, but when I'm winning, that I thrive off of that. And so that is motivation for me when I'm winning, because it's not even just about me, but when I'm winning, I know that somebody else is winning, because I'm answering the call. So it's not even just that I'm winning, but because I keep going, somebody else can keep going. Because I can go another day and pass the baton, somebody else can reach out for the baton, and they have the strength and they have the energy to keep going. And it gets so hectic. So a lot of my times I find myself like doing my recordings at night, or doing my devotionals at night, doing my planning at night when the babies are asleep. But I made a commitment. I said, God, this time I won't stop. This time I will not stop. I'm going after it, just like how the enemy goes after. He ain't gonna stop.
He ain't gonna stop.
I'm not stopping either. Like, I'm going full force. And so for me, that is where I get my motivation from, is that I have to keep going for somebody else.
Right.
For my daughter, I got generational curses to break. Like, my mom was in ministry. Somewhere along the line, like, she didn't keep going. Like, and we're in ministry now. Like, my dad is a pastor, she's first lady, but there was somewhere in there where she didn't keep pushing. So I have to break that curse, because I see greatness in my daughter. I see leadership. I see kingdomship. Like, she's going to do some awesome things in this earth. And so if I stop, if I don't keep going, I don't break that generational curse, and then she doesn't have an example to look up to. So that is my motivation. Like, I got to keep going for the women in my life, for the little girls around me, for my daughter, and for the people that I'm committed to the call for.
Girl, I got chills. Oh, hearing you say that, because that's even part of Gideon, like the generations they were going through what they were going through because of the generations before them. People, and actually I think it was just one generation before them. So it just, we got to be mindful of that. And that gave me chills just hearing you say that, and just speak so much life into your daughter, about your daughter, and just I love it. Oh,
and it's so true. Like, for everybody that's listening, like, if you ain't doing it for nobody else, do it for the little girl that's watching you. Do it for the little boy, the little girls in the community. Somebody is watching and waiting for us to be great, because they have a path to follow. And if we let them down, my God, we could we can't. Like, I have no words. We can't let them down.
Right. And right now it's so pivotal. This is a pivotal moment for us. Like, I just had a call with some of my sorority sisters last night. We were talking about, like, 2020 is going to be a year of reckoning. Like, we could go so many different directions, and it's going to depend on what we do, the work that we are willing to put forth. You know, are we willing to be uncomfortable right now to make some changes for the next generation, for our kids, our kids, and our, you know, it's this
It's
now
so
is the time. If it was never been a time before, now is the time.
Now is the time. Now is the time.
Yes.
Now is the time. You are so right. Like, God, he is shifting. And if you are not a part of the shift, oh my God, like you want to be, like, I don't even want to talk about not being a part, but you want.
It's not an option.
It's not an option. Girl, it's not an option. We were just talking about that the other day. We had a prayer meeting, and I was talking to the ladies about how in Joshua 3, God commands us. Like, he says, I commanded you to be courageous. And he commanded, was it Joshua 3 times, like, I command you. And I don't, and if I'm wrong, you guys, please forgive me, but he commanded 3 times, I've commanded you to be strong and courageous. I've commanded you. Like, didn't I command you? And so God commands us to be great. He commands us to be courageous. He commands us to answer the call. So if it's a commandment, guess what? You don't got an option. I commanded you to be courageous and to step out and go after the promises that I've already have in place for you. All you have to do is do it. I commanded you to do that. And so, I'm not going to keep going, because, girl, I can go in just right there, because
look, so many times. Do you? I'm sitting back here like, yes, all of this.
So many times, like, we get so stuck in fear. And if we get stuck in fear, we miss the promises of God, because he tells us all the time. It's in his word. Every scripture you can think about promises, he gives it to us. Just like the children of Israel, I've given you the land. All you have to do is possess the land. Right. God is telling us today, y'all, ladies, he's giving you the land. All you have to do is possess it. By possessing it, you just walk in. You put fear aside. You put doubt aside. You put disappointment aside. You put what they care. I don't care what they think about me. You put all that aside, and you just walk in it. Just like Vicky said the other day, like, what was it, Vicky? Living big, or how did you say
small? No more playing small.
No more
blessed to be a blessing.
You were blessed to be a blessing. You got to walk in it, and you cannot walk in it scared. You cannot walk in it playing small and thinking small. You got to pray bigger. You got to believe bigger. You got to do bigger. This is the season of bigger and greater. This is the season for innovators. This is the season for entrepreneurs. Whatever it is that you have, that you know God has called you to do, I'm sorry, sis, this your season.
Do it.
Like, it may not be available next year. Like, this is the open door. This is the open opportunity for go.
Right.
This is your season.
And, if you feel scared, you do it afraid. Do it underqualified. Do it. There's somebody, he will qualify the underqualified.
Girl, say that again. He will qualify like, you, whatever it is that you think you need. God says you lack nothing. I have equipped you with everything you need. You lack nothing. So don't be afraid. Do it afraid. Do it. Like, for me, I did it afraid. I did it thinking, ain't nobody going to listen to what I got to say, God.
Ain't nobody going to show up. I'm just going to be talking to myself.
Like, I'm just going to be me and my little friends there. But my daddy said one time, and it sticks with me. He said to the church one time, we're a very small church, and he said, if it ain't nobody but me and my wife here, I'm going to do what God called me to do. Amen. If it's just me preaching to her on the front row, I'm going to do what God called me to do. So I say that if it's just me and my husband listening to me and my kids, if I got to preach to my kids, me and Vicky, girl, I'm gonna do what I've been called to do, because, and also another thing is, you never know. I think we are so moved by numbers. We are moved by, like, the quantity of things, but we forget about the quality of things. What you do, say, if it just saves one soul, the heavens rejoice over one soul. If it just saves one soul, like, I did what I'm supposed to do.
Was it the story about the 99? He left the 99 to get the one.
Yes. to get the one, to get the one. So we worried about numbers when God says, no, I just need the one. Like if we can just do our part for the one, if it just blesses somebody, we did our part.
Yeah.
So don't be worried about, do it afraid, do it unqualified. Like Vicky say, do it with just one of y'all, two of y'all, whoever of y'all, just do it.
Just do it. You
Do
know what, my
it.
coach, I have a business coach, she's amazing, but she says about numbers, and she preaches quality over quantity, but she says if you have, I've heard people say I had 10 followers, or I have 100, I only have 100 followers. She's like, if 100 people were in your living room, you wouldn't know what to do with yourself. If you have 15 people in your house, that's a whole party. So she's like, serve the people that are in front of you and do a good job at it, and then what you're supposed to have, you will get. Okay, so I want to move on to your event. Tell me about your event, girl.
Mm-hmm. So my event is Brunching and Becoming. So Brunching and Becoming came about again in that whole being still. So I have literally, and I had to apologize to God for this, I have been sitting on this for about 2 years now. And God is saying, go. Like, it's time. It's been time. Like, what are you doing? And so Brunching and Becoming came about 2 years ago. And basically Brunching and Becoming is the vision I had is for women to just come together to be empowered in every area of life. Because I feel like so many times we lack community. And I've been blessed. I've been blessed to have a good tribe, a good community. And so many women lack that. They have no direction on how to get in this community. And what else do women like to do? We like to brunch. And for me, I'm fancy. Like, I love to get dressed up, have me a good brunch. Like, I love those type of things. And so for me, Brunching and Becoming came about for a place where women can just gather together in something that we already always do, and just talk about life, talk about how do we become in the areas that we're in. So the real theory is that wherever you are still becoming. You are still becoming. Absolutely. And God's goal is for us to become even more. And so when we meet together and we get together, we can talk about the struggles, the barriers, the challenges that we've had, and we can all get together and see, like, wow, like, she's gone through the same thing that I've gone through, or yes, I've experienced that before, or yes, we made it out on top. And so to let and encourage women to encourage women and let them know that we're all still becoming. Yes. But the part about it is that we can't stop. You have to, in order to become, you have to keep going. You have to keep pushing. You have to push past the barriers. So that is where Brunching and Becoming came about. I'm so excited about it. When I tell you, like, I can't sleep, like, I got anxious bubbles, like, I'm super excited about it. And my prayer is that just women just come and that they are blessed, and that they are empowered to become even more than what they are, that they're ready to move to whatever that next level is in God. So that is where Brunching and Becoming came about. Yes, so I have 3 awesome speakers. So they're all really good friends of mine. So I have Robin Turner, and Robin is also a marriage and family therapist. She recently, woohoo, go Robin if you're listening, she recently wrote a workbook journal. It's called Speak Life. And Robin has an awesome testimony about how God has used her in this season of her life. So I'm so interested for the ladies to hear where God has brought her from, and just for you to hear her testimony and how that vision came about for her. And then I have my good girlfriend, Natasha. Natasha, if y'all don't know about Natasha, that is like, she is a godsend to me. So I call her the purpose pusher. Like, yes, she is the purpose pusher. All you have to do is just call Tasha, and God has gifted her in such a way where she can make strategy come to life. Like, you just tell her, okay, this is what I want to do, and boom, boom, boom. Before you know it, you 30 minutes in and you got a whole event plan. You got a whole business plan. Like, God has really given her the gift to push purpose out of people. She's also a therapist. but she's just all around good. Like that, she's my go-to girl for everything. And she's an excellent speaker, has an excellent testimony. Can't wait for the ladies to hear it. And then I have my good friend Amarachi Lopez. She is, oh, that I love her. She has one of the sweetest spirits. I have never met a person as sweet as Amarachi. And when I met her, it's just like something in her I needed to know more about. It's like she just had this joy about her and this about her. And I just love me some Amarachi. And so Amarachi has a good testimony too. And I don't want to tell y'all too much because I want y'all to come to the event to hear these wonderful testimonies of how these women became and how they're still becoming. And they became brave in the areas of their life. And that's the topic. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. So the topic for this Brunching and Becoming is becoming brave.
Okay.
An area that we all need, because I know I still struggle sometimes. And so just to hear their testimonies on how they overcome and how they met their obstacles with bravery is so awesome to hear. Like I can almost cry just thinking about where these ladies have come from and where they are now. So you don't want to miss it. Such an awesome event. It's gonna be awesome, y'all. And I'm not saying that just because it's me. Like if it was somebody else doing it and they was talking about becoming brave, that's awesome stuff. Like we all need to know, like, how do I do that? How do I kick down these barriers to become and what I need to be?
Yes, get your notebooks ready, get your pens ready so you can do the work.
Yes.
So you can the info. What's the date? Give me the dates, times.
The date is September the 26th at 11 o'clock a.m. via Zoom. September 26th, y'all. It's going to be on a Saturday morning, so we should be refreshed, ready to go. And look, I'm telling people, because people keep saying, well, what's the attire? I am a fancy, all my friends that know me know I'm a fancy, yes, I see it, girl. Yes, I am a fancy girl. So if you, if you want to get fancy for the Zoom call, I would say, yes, go for it. Go for it. Like put yourself in I'm an atmosphere setter. Like I believe full-heartedly in setting an atmosphere. So if you need to get fancy to make yourself feel like you ready to become, then do that, honey. Get fancy. I'm going to be fancy. It's going to be an awesome, and what I'm really looking for is just an awesome time in God. Just an awesome time where we can open up our hearts and be vulnerable to the change that He is going to do in our lives. Because I am yet still becoming. I have not arrived. I am still becoming in what God has called me to be.
You know, I heard Priscilla Shire. I love her, first of all. Like, love Priscilla.
Yes.
But she made a comment in one of her sermons, and she said, in every single stage of our lives, we are both a leader and a student, a teacher and a student. And that's so, I think that's so true. And that falls into the becoming, you know, in every point of your life, there's something you can teach someone, and there's something you can learn from someone else. And so it's just, I think I'm excited about this event. I'm excited to become brave. I'm saying brave.
Yes, brave girl. We're gonna do it. We're gonna all do it together. That's the beauty in it. I love when a good group of women get together and just become bold for God. Like I just have this vision, Vicky, of just like warriors in the kingdom, like knocking down hell's gates and saying, move out of the way. Like we are on a mission from God. So that is my vision, just to become brave and ready to do the things that He has for us to do. All of the things.
Yeah, okay? Girl, I got chills again. Look at you. Look.
Girl, all of the things. I am ready.
I always end all of my interviews with this or that questions. And so I'm going to give you two things, this or that, and then you tell me what you prefer. You can explain if you want, or you could not. It's up to you. So are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Or that? Okay.
I'm
so
ready.
This or that, diamonds or pearls? Diamonds or pearls?
Pearls, because I am a member of the illustrious Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And we know that all the 20 pearls are only for the pretty girls. Okay.
Yes, I love that. Yes, Aurora. Look, I was waiting for you to say something.
Yes. That was the perfect segue in.
Yes,
Yes.
it was. And I always
Yes.
start with that one too.
Perfect
Just
with
for
it.
obvious reasons.
Yes. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my Sora. Thank you, girl.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
House on the beach or a log cabin in the woods?
For me, it's going to be a house on the beach. A house on the beach because I just love me a good time where I can sit on the beach, just rest and renew and relax. And it's beautiful to look and just see God's glory in his creation. That's beautiful. And don't get me wrong, like the trees and the woods, that's pretty too. But the ocean, just to hear that sound of the waves clashing, ooh, I love it. So I'm a beach girl. Beach all day.
I love the ocean, but I want both.
Yeah, can we have both? Can we do both?
I mean, I did say this or
you
that.
know what? You also said believe in bigger. I keep saying it wrong. How do you say it, Vicky? I want to get this right. What was it?
I need to move it to the affirmative because I said stop living small. So I'm like believing bigger. Let's move it to the affirmative. Believe in bigger. Yes.
Believe in bigger. So I'm gonna do it both ways. So I'm not gonna live small. I want both, and I'm gonna believe bigger because I can have both. Okay?
Right, because you need summer and winter, right?
Yes, honey. Yes.
Okay, last one. And I think I know the answer for this, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Heels or flats?
See, this is a tricky one. I'm gonna do flats. Since these babies, me and heels ain't friends no more. Like I can maybe do a wedge, but I can't even keep them on long. So it's gonna be flats for me. I'm gonna do flats. But if I really need to have a heel on though, I'm always gonna have the flats in my purse. They gonna be close on standby.
In the bag.
They gonna be ready.
It's been such a pleasure chatting with you today. You are welcome on Girl Talk anytime. And if you ever need anything from me, you got it. No questions asked.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your gift with us. And actually, before we go, I want you to give us all the details of Brunching and Becoming one more time, and run down how folks can register.
Okay, so before I say that, I do want to say thank you again for having me. This has been so awesome. It's been fun. Like I feel like we like girlfriends for real. This has been so authentic and just fun. I loved it. So thank you, girl. Thank you. And just another rundown. So Brunching and Becoming, you don't want to miss it. You want to be there. We are brunching together as women, and we are becoming brave. We're becoming brave in the things that God has for us, in the levels that he's called us, and just to know that it's okay if we hadn't arrived yet, because we are yet and still becoming in what he's called us to be. It's going to be September the 26th at 11 o'clock a.m. You do not want to miss it. You can come in your PJs, you can come fancy, however you want to come. I just want you to show up, and when you show up with an open heart, because I promise you, I have been praying, I have been fasting, I got my girls praying and fasting. If y'all want to pray and fast with me, you can too. I promise you, God is going to show up, and he gonna show out. Like whatever you have and the need that you have had up before God, if you meet us at this event, and it's free, y'all. It's a free event. Like you cannot beat that.
Like, there's no excuses at this point. There's no excuses. It's free.
You have no excuses. Only thing you gotta do is show up. And you know what? I like to say this. You gotta show up for your life anyway. Like that's so important. I know we done, Vicky.
No, girl, you
gotta show up for your life. Show up for your life. This is one way to start. If you've been struggling with ways, God, I know you've called me. I know there's bigger for me. I know that I'm supposed to be doing something. I know I have purpose. This is a step for you. I challenge you to come to Brunching and Becoming. Meet us in the Zoom, and you're gonna show up for your life. Show up, and God is going to reward you for your obedience for showing up.
Yes, I love that. that was the period right there. That's what we needed right there to cap it off. That was a period. Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope you were as fed and as blessed as I am by this phenomenal girl's presence. And I better see you at Brunching and Becoming. I'm telling y'all, I need to see you.
Yes.
Enjoy.